Kaustubha Das here with the big announcement for Wisdom of the Sages listeners. This August will be Ashram Month at the Super Soul Farm. Simple ashram living, rising early, morning kirtan, yoga and pranayama, healthy vegan and vegetarian meals, farm seva and being immersed in nature, and then gathering in the evenings for kirtan and readings. Plus, each week we'll have a lead presenter teaching a different facet of the philosophy and lifestyle of Bhakti-yoga. Week number 1 will be the exceptional Bhakti Lata teaching a course called The Beauty of Bhakti, bringing the culture of love and devotion into our lives. Week number 2 is my brother from another mother, Raghunath, teaching Falling in Love with Divinity, the Bhakti-yogi's method for opening the heart. And week number 3 is myself with a course called Following the Path, examining the history and teachings of Bhakti-yoga. You can come for 1, 2, or all 3 weeks, and the pricing is by donation. For more dates and information, go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. Peace. Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Makeover Monday. Having a tough day? Haven't had a tough week last week? Here's your chance for a do-over. You can do it all over right now. No, don't do the bad things over. That didn't sound good. Recreate your week by your choices you make today.
Okay.
I'm realizing my computer's not plugged in, and this could be a disaster.
All right.
There we go. Oh, great interview yesterday with Gopal Chandra Prabhu, our regular Zoomer.
I loved hearing from him.
He is a sweet, sweet man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sweet man. If you haven't heard that interview, check it out. Yesterday's. We're having problems getting stuff up on the internet due to my slow internet connection. But guess what, everybody? Today, everything changes. Today, Elon Musk comes to town, and we get the new Elon Musk internet system. What's it called? Jetlink? Starlink? No, it's not Starlink. It's like something like JetBlue or something.
So you're gonna have better internet starting today?
I think starting tomorrow, we're gonna be like so fast.
Wow.
I'm gonna be moving on double time. You're gonna be uploading things, downloading things, watching 2 movies at once, whatever you need. I'll have all the internet you need.
Okay, Raghunath, I think it's about time we start making over this day right now. We're already drifting for this week.
We've been right on track, everybody. Everyone to sign up for, everyone to live in an ashram, we got you covered. Ashram Month is happening. Check out our website, wisdomofthesages.com, and you can come live with us in an ashram and do things people in an ashram do. It's fun. It's educational, and you're in nature, and it's in upstate New York in August when you're suffering in the city. New York City is horrible in August.
No, hold it, Raghunath. Oh, we're just about to say we're about to promote this weekend in New York.
Oh, New York's great. Oh, everybody should go to New York.
No, but there's spots open, right? We hardly promoted this, but but we got a lot of great people coming already, but there's still many spots open for this weekend in New York City for the Rath Yatra and
like 30 people, I think, right?
And the Wisdom of the Sages retreat at the Bhakti Center.
You make it sound like it's a dud. There's spots
It's
open,
not a
but
dud.
we have a big crew coming. We got people are flying in from over the world.
All right, but there's still a lot of spots open, so people can jump on that.
They're not many. You got to learn the scarcity theory, Kaustubha.
All right.
Right. Here's the scarcity theory. Our retreat is like people are banging down the doors. Our computer system can't keep up with it. We have like one spot left. Who wants that spot? If you first come, I'm only accepting one person today. Whoever, that's how you sell something, Kaustubha.
All right.
Scarcity theory. You're like, we got thousands of spots here. Like, I'm not sure if anybody's gonna come. It's just be me and you in a room, just like crying. Who's gonna come to that?
Okay, Raghunath, let's move on to the nugget, please. Let's move on.
We got a nugget for you, my friends.
Thank
It's called
you.
our Monday nugget.
Who's it from?
It's from Thomas Merton.
Excellent.
You might have heard of him. Is it Merton week, Kaustubha?
It could be. I think, as a matter of fact, even this one nugget, I just gave you part of the nugget. We could spend maybe the whole week on just this one extended nugget.
Well, let's not do that.
No, why not?
One nugget.
Why were you against that? In other words, there's more to this nugget. I just gave you the beginning of it. Oh, you're freezing up on us, Raghunath. Uh-oh, we lost him.
Oh boy.
We lost him. Okay. Maybe I will have to read this nugget, Mara.
Yeah.
We never got
please.
to it. But this is from Thomas Merton, who was an American Trappist monk, a writer, theologian, mystic, poet, social activist, and scholar of comparative religion. Are you familiar with him at all, Mara?
A little bit.
little
Just
bit?
here and there. I haven't read a lot of his work.
Well, he was an ordained Catholic priest, but he was also very much into studying Eastern thought.
Hmm.
And this is, I mean, this sounds like it's coming out of Bhagavatam, or it's totally related to Bhagavatam. Does Raghunath know that he's frozen? I don't think he knows. Maybe we have to, well, I don't know if there's anything we can do. He'll catch on sooner or later. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna relate to you, right? One-on-one here, Mara, okay?
All right. Great. Thanks.
So this is, let's see, here it is. He said, what is serious? Okay, here we go. What is serious to men is often trivial in the sight of God. What in God might appear to us as play is perhaps what he himself takes most seriously. At any rate, the Lord plays and diverts himself in the garden of his creation. And if we could let go of our own obsession with what we think is the meaning of it all, we might be able to hear his call and follow him in his mysterious cosmic dance.
That's beautiful.
It's very beautiful, right?
Yeah.
What is serious to men is often trivial in the sight. I mean, that's even that right there is like a strong nugget right there. What is serious to men is often trivial in the sight of God. We tend to take a lot of things very seriously, but from a higher perspective, from a broader perspective, from an eternal perspective, the things that we get so caught up in may not appear at all, may appear to be not serious at all. And he speaks, I mean, when he says cosmic dance, it almost sounds like he's referring to, Krishna Lila. He's speaking of play here. And so this is, in one sense, this is when you strip everything away and you get to the deepest meaning of what we're talking about in Bhakti, where it all ultimately leads. It is to try to understand how what we consider so important, for our happiness and so on in this world, is just a temporary blip that's passing by, and there is a cosmic dance that's waiting for us that we can enter into at any time, and we just have to focus on what's most important.
It's beautiful.
No, we got Raghunath here. He looks okay. Now I think he caught on. He should be coming back sometime soon, but hopefully he'll catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
I
you
have a
know,
couple-
yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead.
you got something?
I was going to
announcements?
say I have a couple announcements. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have a Bhakti Recovery Group meeting today at 1 and also 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Zeb is back from his travels and offering an asana class to our Patreon members at 4 p.m. today.
Where did Zeb go?
Peru, I believe.
Oh, okay.
May have
Very
gone
nice.
somewhere else also,
All right.
but he's back.
Is Raghunath trying to knock on the door?
I don't don't see him yet.
He
Oh, I
maybe-
got a message from him.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, he's trying to sign back in.
Okay.
Maybe should I turn off everyone's cameras?
I mean, that hasn't been necessary
Yeah.
for a long time.
I just thought if he had
Let's
bad
just see
internet.
if he comes. Okay. All right. So maybe we get started without him.
Sure.
Okay. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we're studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our ultimate means of conquest, we must first offer obeisances unto Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto help me
Mother
here.
Saraswati.
Under Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Pareshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavat Yutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshar Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual masters are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. Okay, so yeah.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 33.
Text 33.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we have Lord Vishnu. He's wrapping up his message to King Prithu. He's about to take off, and he just has this last few words to say. He says, "My dear king, O protector of the citizens, henceforward be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world. Sarvatrapnoti shobhanam, that one will achieve or find everywhere all good fortune." It's a nice blessing there.
Very nice.
It's a closing message. Lord Vishnu is sharing like a closing message, right? He's just saying, yeah, you know, if you, I've kind of laid it everything out how you can follow along, and if you do it, it's simple. You'll find good fortune everywhere, even in the places that seems like it's not there, right? Even where it seems like I have no good fortune, even when it seems like, oh, my situation is so unfortunate, you'll find actually there's a lot of good fortune here. This is, you know, when we're hearing in the interview yesterday with Gopal, you know, I have cancer. I don't have too much longer to live. Everything that is near and dear to me seems to be, I'm being ripped away from it, but he's finding good fortune there as well, you know? So it's a nice closing message. And it's reminding me of another closing message, which we have in the Bhagavad Gita. You know, the closing of the Bhagavad Gita is such like a, it's so rich with different instructions. But I was thinking if we begin with text 1857. Let me pull that up.
I think Raghu's back also.
I'm back.
Okay, you're back, Raghunath.
Yeah, I will not be silenced.
Okay, no one was trying to silence you. We're happy to have you here. We're missing you, Raghunath. It wasn't the same without you. So why don't we go ahead and I'm going to read the verse again for you, Raghunath, okay?
Sure.
This is a closing message from Lord Vishnu spoken to Prithu.
Uh-huh.
He says, "My dear king, O protector of the citizens, henceforward, be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything." And then here comes the benediction. You ready?
Yep.
"Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world." What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I agree with Lord Vishnu.
All right. I was
Yes.
I was just saying this is a closing message from Vishnu. And I was going to read from the closing part of the closing message from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Right?
Oh, okay.
Where he's wrapping up his talk. And he says, though engaged in all kinds of activities, right? We're engaged in all kinds of activities. Some of them seem auspicious, some of them seem less auspicious, or, we're struggling in our world. But he says, though engaged in all kinds of activities, and generally those activities, we think of them as becoming entangling, right? When we look at them from the Vedantic point of view.
Yeah.
But he says that we can be engaged in all kinds of activities. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal imperishable abode by my grace. And then he says this, text 57, in all activities, just depend on me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. This is called Sharanagati. This is called surrender. This is what Gopal was talking about yesterday. The one part that really touched me, what he spoke about.
Tell me.
Was when he said, whatever happened in my past, I accept that. It's not like I rue it or, have some kind of resentment about it or anything like that. And also whatever happens in the future. In other words, it's kind of a way of just saying, whatever God's plan is for me, whether it may be pleasurable, it may be painful, but I accept that there's good fortune in it, right? I'll find good fortune everywhere. And then he closes with, or he doesn't exactly close, but to finish up what I wanted to read today, he says, I like this verse a lot. I've quoted this quite a bit, but it says, Mach chata sarvadurgani mat prasada tarisyasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace, right? By my prasad. And he gives the counter presentation. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So he says, he doesn't say that the obstacles won't come, but he says, but if we have that higher consciousness, if our consciousness is like, we talked about, I think something you said you liked, Raghunath, where he said that the leaf has no separate agenda from the tree.
Yes.
So in a sense,
Who said that again?
I don't remember, but if we consider that what's being said here, both to Prithu as well as to Arjuna, he's saying, like, if you don't have a separate, I've kind of laid out a beautiful agenda for you. And if you don't create a separate, if you have faith in it, if you don't create a separate agenda, if you don't think I'm going to manipulate this world on my own to find my happiness, but you just understand my agenda, there may be obstacles in life, but you'll cross over them. He says, by my prasad, right? By my grace, you'll cross over them and you'll find good fortune everywhere. Whatever that circumstance may be, even though it appears unfortunate, you'll find good fortune there. Speak to me, Raghu.
I like it. No, I'm taking it in today. I'm taking this in. It's good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, this is what happens when we practice bhakti. We start sounding like the people from the Bhagavatam. We're hearing that interview with Gopal yesterday, like conversations like right out of the Bhagavatam. Yeah, I'm trusting everything. I feel so fortunate that I have this. I wouldn't change anything from my past. Krishna's taking care of us. It was just like, it was right out of one of these conversations of the Bhagavatam. It's what happens when you imbibe the Bhagavatam. It just starts flowing out of your mouth and you become almost one of the characters in the Bhagavatam. And the Bhagavatam is living out, the journey continues in the same way we're reading about Lord Krishna. And then he talks about a previous avatar. This happened. And then let me tell you another story in a few millennia ago. It's sort of like we get to actually apply this stuff directly to our life, getting it out of the theoretical, like we were saying yesterday. And then it's almost like the Bhagavatam continues in the lives of the devotees today. How are we taking any situation and seeing as it's God's incredible grace? I think the takeaway is trust God.
That's what's being asked for here, right? Yeah, have a little trust. My plan hasn't worked, right? I've been trying for a long time. It hasn't worked out.
I've got an agenda. Yeah. It's like the fly on the window. He's like banging his head repeatedly against the window. I'm just got to try harder. I got to get more focused. I just need more determination. You're not getting out of the window.
Try another way.
Yeah.
I Vaisheshika Prabhu told a nice story. I don't know if you've heard it before, but I might have shared it here before, but he said, he was in his kitchen once and there was a little bird in the kitchen.
Oh yeah. Oh wait,
And-
no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you
No.
haven't heard it?
No. Tell me.
He said he was in his kitchen. There's this bird. And so he was trying to help the bird get out of the kitchen. Right. But, so he kind of like opened up the windows and he's trying, he's trying to like gently kind of direct the bird. But he said the bird was looking at him. He could tell what the bird was thinking. Right. Like the bird was like, you're not going to control me. I see that you have an evil agenda, right? You're trying to manipulate me. Well, you're not going to get away with it. It was like that. All along, he's just trying to give the bird its freedom, its happiness. And the bird is kind of struggling there in that confined, space.
Mm.
But he saw, immediately he felt in that circumstance, like here I am in one sense, like the higher power in here, the one with greater knowledge, the one with greater power. And I'm just trying to encourage this bird to take just a few steps that once it takes it, it's going to open everything up. It'll be completely to its advantage. But the bird's looking at me like I've got some kind of evil agenda, right? There's no trust there. Even when you look at the verse that we read today, right? He says, henceforward, be very careful to execute my orders. Whoa, it's like, right? You hear that. You're like, oh, you're ordering me around? I don't have to follow your orders,
There's a problem with Maya. Yeah, in Maya, it's like you don't know who is your friend and who is your enemy. Special Hare Krishna mantra for everybody. Anyway, let's all chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Actually, first I got to announce we're chanting because Tom Essig is in the hospital.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. I got a cryptic message, but let's just pray for him anyway. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. God, your life's in divine hands. Tom Essig, we love you. He's at St. Peter's in Albany.
Oh, I was looking forward to seeing him this weekend. I hope I get.
Let me know if you need. I will drop all these people that are coming to the retreat to come see you, Tom Essig. I just want you to know that. You just let me know. I will drop them all. They mean nothing to me.
That didn't sound exactly.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's read the commentary to this text, 1857 from the Bhagavad Gita. This was the text that said, in all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So Prabhupada writes, when one acts in Krishna consciousness, they do not act as the master of the world.
Mm.
I mean, it's in one sense, it's implying that we tend to think that we are, right? If we're not acting that way. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. As a servant has no individual independence, he acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. They simply discharge their duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna, but when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, right, in the Bhagavad Gita, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpada is very important in this verse. It indicates that one who has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy it. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I've been appointed to discharge this particular duty by God, right? Whatever that might be, taking care of one's family, whatever, how one behaves at work, the ethics one follows. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, they should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not found in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness.
What's an example of that? I've acted whimsically. I'm just going to offer it. Like what?
Well, I think that means, in other words, there's direction here. Like, for instance, if someone just showed up at your place and just started doing whatever you know what like kind of needs to be done there at Super Soul, right?
Right.
And someone like you painted it today, but what if someone showed up today and said, I'm going to paint it green instead, and I'm going to offer that to you, Raghunath?
Yes. I understand that.
You're welcome. Right. So it's saying that there is direction here. If we are like a leaf on the tree, then we just need to know what that role is. And so he's saying there's a manual, there's direction. You can read it, you can understand it. He says, so not that one should act he says one should act according to the order of Krishna. That is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through disciplic succession from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to their direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. So it's kind of all lined up there. And again, this is requiring trust, but it's saying, we have been that bird, terrified of the person that's opening the window for us. We have been that bug, banging its head against the window. And but there's, why not give it a try? Maybe perhaps you'll find good fortune there.
All right, I love it. It's nice.
You sound real excited. What happened to you between the time that you went off and you came back, Raghunath?
Tom Essex sick. I'm upset.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You got that message in between?
Well, he messaged me last night, but I couldn't quite understand what was going on. Then he just messaged me on the message board privately.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just yeah. All right. Where are we?
We are at 434.
We already did the Narayanam Namaskrityas. Did I miss that?
And we did the nugget too. You missed out on the nugget.
430. Man. Okay. Wait, what Canto
Chapter 20.
4.
Yeah,
Chapter 20. Thank you. Text 34. Gotcha. The great Saint Maitreya told Vidura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead amply appreciated the meaningful prayers of Maharaj Prithu. Thus, after being properly worshipped by the king, the Lord blessed him and decided to depart. Text 35 and 36. King Prithu worshipped the demigods, the great sages, the inhabitants of Pitri Loka, the inhabitants of Gandharva Loka, and those of Siddha Loka, Charna Loka, Panaga Loka, Kinaraka Loka, Apsara Loka, the earthly planets, and then the planets of the birds. What? Planets of the birds? What? I never heard of that.
I had a feeling you were going to like this. It's all the different aliens are being spoken of here.
I know. I mean, there are some planets I'm very interested in going. Siddhaloka, very interested in that planet. Gandharva Loka, very interested. Filled with music. Another interesting that jumped out at me on this one, the
planet of the birds.
The planet of the birds. That is I can't tell, but it's like Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Birds. But it is very interesting. And also this one, the earthly planets. There's many earthly planets. It's like we're thinking are we alone out here in the universe? Are you kidding? There's many earthly planets. I'm not even talking about the bird planets. There's many earthly planets. There's like parallel versions of Raghunath walking around, spilling things, causing troubles. The universes of this. Isn't that interesting? A bunch of planets.
There's so many different ones, Raghunath, with so many different kind of creatures.
But there's only one bird planet.
Yeah. What do you think it means by earthly planets?
From what I understand, an earthly planet is right down in the middle, meaning we experience pleasure and pain at the same, in the course of a day. Right. We can experience the highest joy and then all of a sudden lose everything. It's not heaven and it's not hell.
So if the upper planets are places where there's lots of pleasure,
tons of enjoyment, very little pain, long lifespans, no disease. That's how they're described. And then a hellish place could be planets. Like just suffering tremendously, and they're all temporary. Of course, we're not condemned there eternally. We're just doing time there, learning lessons. Just like sort of like you're at a gym and you're working out and you're like, I don't want to be here, but I come work out. And you're just like, you're building muscle. We're building muscle. We're growing, and we're trying to apply whatever's happening to us. We're trying to upcycle that. And we're taking some garbage and turning into something wonderful. Upcycle. You like that?
Okay.
Upcycle it.
Yeah. Okay. So he's worshipped all of these different people from all these different planets. Then it goes on. He also worshipped
No, did I not say
Nope, not yet.
that? What text is this? That mayor, I'm lost here.
Text 35.
Thank
And
you.
36.
Okay. After this, they all went back. Okay. With folded hands, he worshipped all of these, as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the personal associates of the Lord, by offering sweet words and as much wealth as possible. After this function, they all went back to their respective abodes, following in the footsteps of Lord Vishnu.
All right, let's hear the commentary, Raghunath. I think you're going to like this one.
Okay, we're getting into planets here.
Yeah.
Everything's an alien. We're aliens. King Prithu worshiped the demigods, the great sages. I'm sorry. In modern so-called scientific society, the idea is very prevalent that there is no life on other planets, but that only on this Earth do living entities with intelligence and scientific knowledge exist, right?
Okay.
The Vedic literatures, however, do not accept this foolish theory of the Oxford professors. The followers of Vedic wisdom are fully aware of the various planets inhabited by the varieties of living entities, such as the demigods, the sages, the Pitas, the Gandharvas, the Panagas, the Kinnaras, the Charanas, the Siddhis, and the Apsaras. Didn't mention the birds. The Vedas give information that on all the planets, not only within this material sky, but also in the spiritual sky, there are varieties of living entities. So interesting. Why not? We haven't even discovered everything on this. Do you know that they discover new species every year? Like many. They're just discovering stuff. What to speak of the, what is it, the Mariana Trench? We haven't even gone down there yet. We can't even get down there, figure that out. There's a ton. We're trying to figure out what's on the moon. You don't even know. You'll never know what's on the moon. You may not be able to see the things on the moon. They might live like 20 feet underground. We don't know that. We went to the moon. Nothing's there. Are you sure? Did you dig all over 20 feet underground? No, you didn't do that. Do we have to explain everything to everybody? Anyway.
Okay, keep reading, Raghu.
The Vedas give information that in all planets, not only within this material sky, but also in the spiritual sky, there are varieties of different entities. Although all these living entities are of one spiritual nature in quality, the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they have all varieties of bodies due to the embodiment of the spirit soul by the 8 material elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay?
This is
Due to your activities, you get a different clump of matter based around your soul. It's very interesting.
And you have all varieties, he said, and then he mentions those 8 elements. And sometimes Prabhupada said, like, some creatures have bodies that are more earthly, and they exist on the earth. And some creatures have bodies that are more like water-like, and some creatures have bodies that are like fiery. They can exist.
There's like
fire.
luminescent ones.
Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting that due to your desires, you get some body that accompanies your desires. In the material world, Vedic literature, in the material world, distinctive features are manifested in different types of bodies in the various planets. We have full information from the Vedic literature that in each and every planet, both material and spiritual, there are living entities of varied intelligence, right? There's some dumb animals too, dumb humans. There's some really smart ones. The Earth is one of the planets of the Burloka planetary systems.
I think that's what it was meant by earthly, right?
Yeah, earthly, Burloka. There are 6 planetary systems above Burloka. Interesting, huh? Like we think, well, we're pretty smart. I got news for you. There's 6 more other systems, not 6 more other planets. 6 more other systems, like almost like layers of disks, and within that disk, there's millions of planets within that disk. So on our disk of Burloka, there's many, 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 many earthly planets. You ever wonder if, like, you took a left instead of a right in your choices, like where you'd, like, for example, if you didn't marry Gita and you married somebody else, or if you decided not to become a devotee, you did something else. If you took, all the different choices could have led you to such different paths. I wonder if these other earthly planets are completely different, or are they watching Netflix like we are in their own other earthly existence? Ever think like that? Do they have fresh
I don't
water,
know.
salt water, other types of water?
I don't wonder about it too much, but I suppose one
maybe
could
it's-
wonder that.
This is like anyway, it's interesting because they just might have made some different choices.
Yeah.
Bob says maybe we are the Netflix show.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. 6 planetary systems above us. Therefore, the entire universe is known as Chatur Das Bhuvana, indicating that it has 14 different planetary systems. Did I miss the ones below us?
But he didn't mention them, but it's
I
okay.
didn't mention them. Is it interesting? Just as there's upper ones, there's lower ones also.
Hmm.
And it gets real low. And there's million in each disc, so to speak. There's millions of them. Beyond the planetary systems in the material sky, there is another sky, which is known as Paravyoma, or the spiritual sky, where there are spiritual planets. So interesting, huh? They don't teach you this in yoga. This is the real deal. You don't go to a yoga class in America and learn anything about this. The inhabitants of those planets engage in varieties of loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which include different rasas, or relationships, known as Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras, and above all, Parikya Ras. This Parikya Ras is known as Paramore love. This is beautiful, huh? The different nuances of love of God.
Hmm.
You can't even say I love God. It's just too general. In Vedic circles, there's nuances of love. Just like if you say, I love lasagna, or if you say, I love my dog, I love my spouse. You can't love your spouse in the same way you love your dog. It's still love, but they're different types of love. I love my spouse. I love my kid, right? It's a different type of love. I love my best friend. Nuanced love in the spiritual world. Very fascinating stuff here. This planet is called, now we're talking about the planet of Parikya Baba. So this is what we're
Parakia.
into. Parikya.
And we're into it all, but
No, we're into it all. Parikya. So you're Spanish. Parikya. This planet is also called Goloka Vrindavan. And although Lord Krishna lives there perpetually, he also expands himself in millions and trillions of forms. Isn't it amazing what other forms Krishna appears in that we're just not aware. The Bhagavatam doesn't tell every form. Why? Krishna has millions and trillions of forms.
and I think even here he's saying even millions of trillions of the Krishna form. So in other words, he's reciprocating with everyone.
Oh, okay. In one of such forms, he appears on this material planet in a particular place known as Vrindavan Dham, where he displays his original pastimes of Goloka Vrindavan Dham in the spiritual sky in order to attract the conditioned souls back home. It's working. It's working, Krishna. You're attracting us back home. We're all really interested in you. That's why we're waking up early reading this book.
Yeah.
Next
So,
text.
Well, let's
You want to get into that?
Well, let's talk about this a little bit, just so because it's a bit esoteric what we're discussing here, right? But Prabhupada, just look where he went with this. There was a verse here it was describing that a king on earth at a certain point in a very distant history met Lord Vishnu himself, right? And Lord Vishnu is that being that pervades the entire universe, right? His presence is within every living being, is within every atom. That being that holds it all together, right, appeared to him in a public assembly, along with beings from all different areas of the universe. Right, that's what's being said. And so Prithu showed them all respect, and then they all departed. And so, Srila Prabhupada, he takes that and he wants to share a little, like you were saying, you don't learn this in your ordinary yoga class. He wanted to share this whole kind of like Vedic cosmology, understanding the different planets and so on. But he used it to show like we're moving through this world. There are upper planets, there are lower planets. It's a world where sometimes we're experiencing greater pleasure, sometimes we're experiencing greater pain.
Hmm.
But he's saying, but beyond that, there's that in one sense, this realm that we're in is just a reflected realm of what's going on in this, what he called the paravyoma, right? The spiritual sky. That space, we tend to think, whatever we're experiencing, that's the reality.
This is reality. Now.
Yeah, he's saying that there's a reality, that this is just a reflection, that this is a reflection of that reality. Where we're existing now is a reflection of that reality. So
you mean all my troubles really aren't that big?
Well, that's Raghunath. That's what we've been talking about. Even our nugget was going there. Actually, we should go back to the nugget. We just came back around to the nugget.
I'll read the nugget.
Read the nugget.
I missed the nugget. What is serious to men is often trivial in the sight of God. What in God might appear to us as play is perhaps what he himself takes most seriously. At any rate, the Lord plays and diverts himself in the garden of his creation. And if we can let go of our own obsession with what we think is the meaning of it all, we might be able to hear his call and follow him in his mysterious cosmic dance.
Oh, this is exactly what we're talking about here, right? In other words, we're in this realm where we're going up, we're going down, sometimes more pleasure, sometimes more pain. We're taking it as all very significant, as it is the only reality. But here what's being said is beyond this. There is the paravyoma, there is a spiritual realm. And it's this realm is a reflection. That means that if we see relationships here, we can understand that there are relationships there. But they're in their perfection, and here it's a reflection, and it's even a warped reflection, right? It's a reflection warped by the material energy. But he's saying and this is where you get to the esoteric side of yoga, the esoteric side of bhakti, right? Where he says there's different what he calls rasas there, the different flavors of love. There's the dasya rasa, which is the flavor of
servitude.
Servitude, right? Sometimes, we might think, oh, what is that? What kind of love? Sometimes you love someone who's like your superior, and actually you enjoy being in that relationship, right? Like if you have a mentor that you deeply love, right?
You want to render service to them.
Yeah.
What could I get you? You're hungry? Let me get you some food.
Exactly. Like that's, in other words, when you have like the love for a mentor, you don't want an equal relationship. You're very happy, your love is based on that, seeing that person as your superior, and you're showing respect. And like you're saying, it manifests through, I want to serve you. What can I do to please? And from the master, from, let's say, from the mentor to the mentee, it's more like they have a different mood, right? Their mood is like, oh, I'm so pleased by you. You're so sincere. You're so, my heart is melting, from your sincerity. And I just want to be kind to you and give you whatever I can give you. And so that's a particular flavor of love. And one can have that flavor of love eternally in the spiritual realm with God. And then next mentions the Sakya rasa. What's that?
Friend.
And so there's a difference between that, right? Now with friendship, there's equality, right? It's like, and in that spiritual realm, it says you actually need the influence of the energy in that realm, is that you forget that this is God I'm dealing with. This is my friend, right? There's a relation based on equality. And then it says Vatsalya rasa.
Parenthood.
Yeah, the parent that a parent has for a child is a very special kind of love, and one can have that for God. And then Madhurya rasa, which means
you're chopping out, my brother.
Oh,
I sorry, said
Madhurya rasa.
Madhurya, that means intimate love,
like romantic
love. Romantic love.
And then he says, above all, Parakya rasa, which he calls
love with a girlfriend, like sort of an illicit
forbidden
love.
Yeah, like
forbidden love.
Yeah.
A Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, it's sorry. Yeah, kind of like that, right? It's secret, right? No one can know about it. And it's said that actually that is, it considered in one sense the highest rasa in the spiritual realm, right? What's low here is considered very high there. And so he's saying all of these relationships are present there in the spiritual realm. And there is a cosmic dance going on there. right? That's kind of like the invitation is open to us. It's open. You know, we read about it in the 10th canto, Krishna's playing his flute. And through that flute, it's like a call to the gopis, you know, come, right? Leave everything else behind. You know, you're in your homes, you have your duties, drop it all right now and come to me. Right? I was, you know, I had the great fortune, you know, I went to this beautiful wedding over the weekend, yesterday.
Yeah. Who do you hang with?
Well, I hung with Sri Prahlad going, you know, who we interviewed here back in January, I think it was. I was with him driving up, and he was talking about this, how he sees like the chapters in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, which are the pinnacle of all Vyasadeva's writings. He was saying you could kind of like the whole relationship of the soul with God is kind of plays out there. First, Krishna plays the flute. He's calling us to be with him, right? He calls the gopis out of their homes. Drop everything, come to me. Like that's the call of God, right? And then the gopis come, and he had a beautiful explanation for it. The gopis come, and he says, "Why don't you go back? You know, what are you doing out here in the middle of the night? You should go back home." You know, there's kind of like a test there, you know.
See what they really want.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Do you really want me, or do you still want the things of this world? You know, go back to the things of this world, you know. It's like, no. If we really want, all I want is you. And then there's the dance, you know, and the pleasures of that. And then the gopis actually during the, you know, you take to that spiritual life, you take to bhakti. And then the gopis, it said they developed a little pride, right? Oh, we're so special. Krishna's here dancing with us. And then Krishna disappears, right? And then the gopis have to go into deep meditation on him, right? It says the gopis were playing out his pastimes. You know that they're running around. They're so wrapped in thought of him. And that's what we're meant to do, you know, bring our mind to the pastimes of Krishna and become deeply absorbed in them, become wrapped in them. And then he reappears, you know, and shares his final message with him. So Prabhupada, in any case, he's just kind of laying this all out. You know, there is that esoteric side. And what the six Goswami, you know, especially Rupa Goswami did, this really important writer in the history of the Bhakti movement, is he borrowed from the text on Sanskrit drama, right? These ancient, fascinating texts. The text on drama, they dealt all with emotion and all with relationships and the different varieties and the subtleties in those relationships. And they had a whole vocabulary, right? Like a whole language for it. And he took that language and he applied it to Krishna's pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can see you have these different rasas, these different flavors of love, all different varieties. And then it gets broken down into all these different subcategories. And it's just a very, like you said, it's not enough to just say one loves God, but like, how do you love God? In what flavor do you love God? And then even within that flavor, how does it, there are subtleties within those. And through that service, the different experiences that one feels, those are all categorized, you know, and it just goes into an incredibly fascinating study of divine love.
We have the science of loving God here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a treasure chest of really unique information.
You know, our particular lineage, this Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage it's one of, you know, it's part of one of 4 important Bhakti, you know, Vaishnava lineages. And they all are contributing something, you know, they all have something special to contribute, their own special way of expressing their understanding of Vedanta, their understanding of bhakti, of prema. But in our lineage, what's considered a particularly significant contribution is Rupa Goswami's writings about divine love, the depth of the detail, and how that plays out in one's meditations and how that plays out in one's practices. It goes into a theology that is absolutely fascinating and particularly beautiful, you know, captivating. And so, as Thomas Merton was saying, you know, he says we get, how did he say it? He says we become obsessed. If we could let go of our own obsession with what we think is the meaning of it all, we might be able to hear his call. You know, we might be able to hear that flute, you know, and follow him in his mysterious cosmic dance. It's open for all of us. All right, Raghunath.
Continuing on.
That was your cue, like kind of when I come to I wrap it up there. That's like when you, it's all right. Why don't you read the last two verses here today?
Alrighty.
We'll wrap up the chapter.
King Prithu then offered his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Lord of all the demigods. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to the sight of Maharaj Prithu. After offering obeisances to the Lord, the king returned to his home.
I think you skipped 37, Prabhu.
Yeah.
What happens? Okay. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, having captivated the minds of the king and the priests who were present, returned to his abode in the spiritual sky. All right. Then we had King Prithu then offered his respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead. It was the Supreme Lord of the demigods. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to the sight of Maharaj Prithu. After offering obeisances to the Lord, the king returned to his home.
Okay, that ends the chapter. We spent a long time with this chapter.
It was a good chapter.
It's a beautiful chapter.
We're at a good place.
Yeah.
Mara, do you have any valuable information that you extracted or that the people on Zoom extracted and sent to you?
I do. I have some good stuff.
Give us a takeaway. I need a takeaway today.
Follow God to the cosmic dance.
That's like a song. Follow God to the cosmic dance.
Or this one from Aaron Erskine, Hold Me Closer, Cosmic Dancer.
The good one.
Oh, I like that one.
It's
Aaron.
pretty good.
That might be our title for today. That's a good one.
Hold me closer, cosmic dancer. Okay, I'll take that.
See the good fortune in God's plan.
Oh yeah,
Always
that's a
good
tough
fortune.
one. That's a tall order.
Yeah. The Bhagavatam continues, like with the devotees.
Yeah, yes it does. Yes it does.
Trust God.
Not a good T-shirt. The Bhagavatam, well, maybe it is.
I don't
How
know.
about
might
just
be
trust
called a
God?
T-shirt.
Trust God's a great shirt.
Yeah.
Some people will hate that. You know that. Some people, that will.
But who would hate Hold Me Closer, Cosmic Dancer? I think.
Nobody could hate that one.
There's a few
Yeah,
people
gotta
that hate
love
that.
that. Really? They're really twisted if they hate that one.
We Are the Bird in the Kitchen.
Maybe they got to go to the bird planet.
I was thinking about the bird planet. I was like, what does that mean?
Planet of the birds. We are the bird in the kitchen.
We are.
We're living in a warped reflection.
We're living in a warp reflection. Doo-doo-doo.
And Did You Dig?
Did you dig? What was that in reference
about?
And the moon. When we went to the moon.
Oh, did you dig?
Did you
Okay.
dig?
Did you dig?
Even Rogan, I
They
forgot that
didn't
one.
dig. They didn't dig.
They didn't dig at all.
There could have been tons of like creatures living just 20, even a foot under the ground. They didn't dig 1 foot. They don't know. We don't know everything, people. We just don't know. I wonder if is the moon on this planet? No, the moon's a higher planet, right? Kaustubha?
Oh, Chandraloka? Yeah.
a higher planet.
Special spot.
You can't see what's on the higher planet with your dull vision. Come on, people. Thanks everybody for joining us. Big prayers out to our regular Zoomer, Tom Essig, who's going through it right now at St. Peter's Hospital. We love you, Tom, and we're all praying for you. Gopal Chandra, check out that interview yesterday with Gopal Chandra. This guy's wonderful. He's live here on Zoom today, too. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we're doing, patreon.com/wisdom of the sage is how you can support us. It means a lot to us. And that's how we keep this operation running, totally by the mercy of the listeners. And also, I want to direct you to wisdomofthesages.com. Check out the Sage Academy. We're trying to come out of our shells and offer education on different facets of yoga, bhakti, meditation, pranayama this entire summer and winter. Come check it out there and hang with some of us live. And looking forward, everyone's starting to arrive today for the Wisdom of the Sages retreat upstate. Who would think we could do a retreat Tuesday to Thursday, Tuesday to Friday? But it's happening, and it's sold out.